Guys, it's Tyler at Tennis with Tyler, and today we are going to be learning how to hit a forehand for beginners. I work with primarily beginner and intermediate students all the time, people with no prior tennis knowledge, and this is how to teach them the forehand. If you can follow this whole video, by the end you will be able to consistently hit a forehand with no prior tennis experience. So let's get started. So the number one thing that I want you to think, number one, what I get all my students to do is make sure that they're sideways, all right? You want to be sideways when you hit a forehand. You don't want to be facing forward. You don't want to be facing this way. If you're a right-handed player, you're going to be facing the right. If you're a left-handed player, you're going to be facing the left. You're going to be sideways. Then, after you're sideways, you're going to think about the swing. So I'm sideways, and you want to start with the racket low. I tell all my students, if you're starting out with the forehand, you want to start with your racket low. So sideways and racket low. And then what you're going to do is you're going to swing. So you start low, you're sideways, and you swing over your shoulder, right? You're going to start low, you're going to swing over your shoulder. One more, start low, swing over your shoulder. So the primarily number one thing that you want to do is make sure that you swing low to high every single time. Low to high, let it fly. Low to high, let it fly. Why? Because there's two things. Number one, I need to hit the ball forward, but then also I need to get the ball over the net. So by starting low and swinging to high, that's going to help me hit a consistent shot. So number one, I'm sideways. Number two, my racket's low, and I'm swinging to high. Low to high, let it fly. One more, low to high, and I tell my students to freeze. Now, look, where's my elbow pointing? Right now, my elbow's pointing at the camera. If I turn the opposite way and I'm hitting, my elbow's facing the net, pointing to the court, right? So start low, sideways, elbow. Again, we're going to start low, sideways, elbow. So we're going to do some shots now. We're sideways, we're starting with the racket low, elbow. We're teaching the proper swing path. If a student's able to do this, then they will be able to at least get the ball over the net the proper way. So this is phase one. So again, we'll be sideways, start low, elbow, low to high, let it fly. Let's go. So I'm going to be sideways, start low, elbow. Start low, elbow. One more, start low. Let's get them in the court. Elbow. Let's do two more. Start low, elbow. One more. Sideways, start low, elbow. Now, what's going to happen with some players is that they're going to swing and the ball is going super high. You see how the ball is super high right now? I'm doing what I told you guys, but there's one thing that's going wrong. What is it? And this is what many beginners will do, right? Beginners will have their racket strings open. When the racket strings are open, the ball is going to sail long. So I like to tell them, I don't like to tell them grips. I don't want you to think grips right now. I don't want you to think forehand, eastern, western. We can go that later, right? All I want you to think is you want your racket face always closed. You never want your racket face open. If your racket face is open, low to high, elbow, it's going too high. You need to tilt the strings down, make sure that they're closed, tilted downward, start low to high, and it's going to help the ball go in. It's also going to create topspin. And what is topspin? Topspin is that you can hit the ball as hard as you want and it's still going to dive in. Then the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to have them get their non-dominant hand. I want you to get your non-dominant hand involved in your shot. You know, sideways. Now I want you to think that you're surfing, skateboarding, or snowboarding, depending what you like to do most, right? So I'm going to turn sideways and I'm pretending I'm going to go surfing, right? I'm pretending that I'm surfing. I want to have my balance, right? I have both my hands out. This is what you want to do when you hit a forehand. You don't want your left hand or right hand, if you're a lefty, in close to you or not involved. You want it out in front. It's not only going to help you get more balance, but it's going to help guide you to the ball. Your non-dominant hand is your GPS to the ball. It's going to come in so handy when you're playing tennis, right? So you want to be sideways on your surfboard. I want you to be on your surfboard and then swing. So we're going to start low. We have our left hand out now. We're swinging on our surfboard, elbow. So we're going to do a couple balls with the slinger bag. And now all we are going to do is just have our left hand out in front, or right hand if you're a lefty, okay? In this video, I'm going to be talking about a right-handed player. If you're a lefty, just make sure to do the opposite, okay? I put the link to the slinger bag in my description. Make sure to check it out. So here we are. Let's go. So we're going to be sideways, our hand out, right? We're surfing, balance, right? Waiting for the ball to come out. And we're going to swing, elbow. Again, we're going to start low. Our strings are tilted down, elbow. We're using this hand to help balance and guide us to the ball. Let's do 2 more. 2. And here we are, last one. All right, so that is step 2. So now, after you get that, what I want you to do is I want you to really think that you're getting your left hand to the ball and then you're going to hit. You're getting your left hand to the ball. Again, I'm trying to catch the ball almost, and then I'm going to hit. Because wherever I can get my left hand to, that's exactly where I want to make contact with the ball. Too many players, they make contact too close to their body because their hand's down, and then they go super close. Again, their hand's down, super close. So if I can get my left hand out here, that's exactly where I want to hit. So utilize that non-dominant hand. Start low, elbow. Now, after you guys master that, and let's just review real quick. So we're sideways, we're starting low, we're swinging over shoulder, elbow, and we are now using our non-dominant hand. Now what I want you to do is I want you to catch your racket with your non-dominant hand. So instead of just swinging, right, we're not going to just swing and have our hand out and swing like this. Now we're going to swing and we're going to catch. We're going to swing and then we're going to catch. Well, Tyler, I see Nadal go around the head. I see Murray come around. Well, if you catch the racket, it ensures that you have the proper swing path every single time. It also ensures that you use your non-dominant hand every single time. So if you're starting out, I want you to catch the racket over your shoulder, okay? Every single time you're going to swing and then you're going to catch the racket. You're going to swing and catch the racket. One more, you're going to swing and then catch the racket every single time you hit. Big disclaimer, when I tell all my students this is what they start to do. They start to swing and catch at the same time. You want to make sure you swing over your shoulder, follow through, then catch the racket. Once again, you swing over your shoulder, follow through, then catch the racket. Don't swing and catch, follow through first, and then catch the racket. So we started low, elbow, sideways, right? We got our hand out, and now we are catching the racket with our non-dominant hand. Now, after you get that, after you get comfortable with that, now I want you to think, instead of low to high, I want you to think back, low to high. One more time, I'm going to take the racket back, low to high. Why did I start low to high? Because it teaches you the proper swing path. But then once you get that, right, not every ball is going to be right here. So if you have your racket low and the ball's high, it's going to be hard to get, right? Now you're taking your racket back, and then you go low to wherever the height of the ball is, and then you hit it. So I want you to start with your racket back, then go low to high. One more, racket back, then go low to high, all right? When we do this at first, I want you to take it back, then go low, wait for the ball, and then catch the racket. Once again, go back, then go low, wait for the ball, and then catch it. Once you get that down, then we're going to teach you step 3, which is the full swing, right? But we're just going to go through these steps, all right? So we're going to take the racket back, surfing, low to high, back, low, and then we're going to swing to high. Racket back, low, swing to high. Racket back, low, swing to high. One more, racket back, low, swing to high. One more, racket back, low, swing to high. Now once you get that, then you're going to put it together. So then you're going to get the timing down and do back, low to high. Racket back. So we're waiting for the ball with our racket back, right? Racket backing up. And then we're going low to high. One more, racket backing up, then go low to high, racket back up, then go low to high. Now, when do you go low? When do you go low for the ball? You go low for the ball when the ball bounces, right? So, watch, my racket's back here, right? Ball bounces, then I go low to high. Once again, back here, then I go low to high. One more, racket back here, bounces, then low to high. So as soon as the ball bounces, then I go low. Many players, when I tell them to go low, they go like this. They use their arm. Guys, you don't want to be super tight. Watch, back, and then I'm going to drop the racket and then go low to high. Again, racket back, then I'm going to drop the racket and then go low to high. It's not this to go low. It's a drop. I'm just letting gravity do the work. Too many players, I'm going to show you right now, they do this. They go low, they drop the racket, and then boom, super tight, right? You need to be loose. Racket back, low, too high. Racket back, low, too high. You see how loose I am? I'm flexible. I'm letting the racket work for me. I'm not working for the racket. So that is how you do it. If you're a visual learner, I want you to think that you're making a C. Ready? So racket back, that's the top of the C. Then I drop, I go low, that's the curve of the C. And then I go over my shoulder. Again, top of the C, bottom of the C, I drop, I'm loose, and then over my shoulder. It's literally a C with a check mark, right? I'm making a C with a check mark. So I want you to think back, drop, low to high. Racket back, drop, low to high. Okay, so again, just to review, we're sideways, starting low, elbow, step one. Then step two's, we're going to take the racket back, drop, and then low to high. We're waiting for the ball when it's dropped. And then step three, we're going to put it all together. So we're going to get the slinger bag again. And now all I'm doing is I'm timing it. I'm trying to make this one continuous motion. I never want this motion to stop. Back, drop, low to high. Back, drop, low to high. Okay, it never stops moving. So let's do it. Here we are. I'm going to push this out of the way a little bit. Here we are. Let's go. So racket back, waiting for a ball. Back, drop, low to high. A little bit out. Back, drop, low to high. Back, drop, low to high. So racket back, then I drop on the bounce, right? When do I drop? I drop on the bounce. Two more. And one more. Okay, so that is, now you learn this forehand swing path. Now, if you want to make it more consistent, what are we going to do? So a lot of players, they use their arm when they hit the forehand, right? They use their arm. Now, instead of taking it back with your right arm, you're going to push the racket back with your non-dominant arm. Again, you're going to push that racket back with your non-dominant arm, and then you're going to catch the racket, right? So instead of thinking racket back, drop low to high, you're going to push it back with your top hand, then you're going to drop it, and then you're going to catch it with your top hand. So instead of thinking back, drop, low to high, you're going to think 2, 1, 2. And what do I mean by 2, 1, 2? Watch this, ready? So when I take the racket back, look how many hands I have on the racket. I have 2. Then when I drop, I have 1. And then when I catch, I have 2. Again, I take the racket back with 2 hands, 1 out in front, and then I catch with 2. So you take the racket back with 2 hands. That's going to turn my body. Then I'm going to have my hand out front like we're surfing. We went over that before. And then I'm going to catch the racket with 2 hands. Again, take the racket back with 2 hands. I'm going to drop the racket with 1 and catch with 2. After you understand the back, drop, low to high, the whole C, then you're going to be thinking 2, 1, 2. Why? Because now it's going to teach you how to not just only use your arm, but use your whole body. So we're going to be doing a couple shots with the slinger bag now. And this is the last step on how to learn a forehand, right? So we're sideways, starting low, too high, let it fly. Then we take the racket back, drop, low to high. Then we're making it continuous. And now the last step. It's super windy out here today, but we're going to be doing 2, 1, 2. Let's go. Here we are. So we're going to be sideways, right? We're going 2 hands, 1 hand, 2 hands. 2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 2. 2, 1. We'll go cross court. 2, 2, 1, 2. And make sure you're loose when you hold that racket, right? And our strings are down. Let's do 4 more. 3 more. Here we are. 2, 1, 2. 2 more. 2, 1, 2. And last one. 2, 1, 2. All right, so if you guys can do that with your forehand, and first learn sideways, low to high, then second, back, drop, wait for the ball, low to high. Third, make it continuous, you make the C, and then fourth, 2, 1, 2. That is how you are going to learn a forehand. So again, make sure you go through each step. Again, there's 4 main phases of the forehand to learn a forehand. Make sure you go step by step. Don't jump steps, right? Start with the low to high. Once you get that, once you can hit 10, 20 balls in a row, and then you're going to go back, drop, wait for the ball, hit 20 in a row, then you're going to make it continuous, and then you're going to go 2, 1, 2. If you guys can follow these steps in the video, you guys will learn how to hit a forehand and be consistent with it. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below. Have a good one and happy hitting.